Hey y'all, so another day, another Housewives franchise. This is my review for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 2, episode 1. Now y'all know this has been anticipated because, we have another felonious housewife. And this time it's on Sunday nights, airing right after Potomac. So Sundays are gonna be interesting trying to get both of these videos out on time. I'm glad they have the Sunday night slot because I think Wednesday wasn't working for them. I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember. But at least we're on a new franchise. New York is over with, even though we need to get to that reunion at some point. I guess we'll get back to it. Would y'all even care? Anyway, let's get into this episode because I'm sure y'all saw the 2-minute preview in the beginning. Whew, that is an opening. Give them an Emmy just for that opening. So first we start out with all the wives. They're about to head on the cash trip. We see Jen gets a call, and then you see the fear of God on her face. She hangs up, tells Whitney to take her mic pack off, and she abruptly leaves. Now, 12 minutes later, all you see is FBI, helicopters. You have the ladies wondering what is going on. They are looking for Jen Shah. She is on the run. Cut to Whitney saying, fraud, fraud, Real Housewife fraud. Like, she didn't say it in a concerning way. She said it in a matter-of-fact way. So then we cut to all the wives' confessionals, wondering like who knew what and who knew this. And then we cut to Meredith, who's being asked, was she the one who tipped the feds off? And then we fade to black. That was a chef's kiss. That really was. And then we go into the show opening where they say the taglines. You know what? Surprisingly, my favorite tagline was Lisa. Lisa's tagline, I think it was something along the lines of, you don't have to like me, I like me enough for the both of us. It was something like that, but I liked it. It was spicy for her. And then afterwards, Mary, you come for me, I'm sending Jesus after you. Just the audacity of it is what makes it great. Those are my top 2. The rest were kind of corny to me. But then yes, we start the episode out 2 months earlier. They are on their Shonda Rhimes right now. So then we open the episode at Jen's new house. So she was leasing the other one. I'm not sure if this is a downsize or an upgrade, but it still looks nice. So we see her with assistant number 2 of 4. Not sure where the other one is, the one that's actually being indicted with her. He probably hightailed it. But anywho, Lisa is coming over because that's her new bestie now. And Lisa's telling her how much she loves the new house. It looks cute, but it's giving me ski lodge. It's not giving me like home. Like, I don't get a home feel from it. It just looks like an Airbnb or something. We see Jen explaining in her confessional that the lease was up on their house and they just went to another one. Now, in the Housewives universe, most of the wives own their homes. So we always raise an eyebrow to a housewife that's leasing because we're all wondering, is she a poser? We see her giving Lisa a tour of the house, and her closet, I gotta say, is immaculate. Now, as I see all these luxury items, the shoes, the bags, etc., I just can't help but think that she got all this from stealing from senior citizens, allegedly. But anywho, Jen lets us know that the other ladies are skeptical of her and Lisa's friendship, especially because she used to be besties with Meredith. She's telling Lisa that she's had a rough 6 months because her husband almost divorced her. Side note, y'all notice that she still hasn't asked Lisa how she's doing? Just saying. But yeah, Jen being Jen last season, I'm pretty sure is the reason she almost lost her husband. And they've been married for 26 years. Wow. And I'm actually wondering now that all the recent events have unfolded for Jen, is her husband going to stay by her side? And honestly, the $1 million question is, did he know that she was doing this? Because y'all know how we love to blame the wives if the husband do something. So it's inverted this time. So I'm wondering, did the husband know something? I think he did. 26 years of marriage and you don't know what your wife doing? Yeah, he knew. He probably knew. But she says currently that her and her husband are going to counseling. Her and Lisa then get on the topic of the group dynamic and how Jen is beefing with Meredith. Lisa feels like she's in the middle, which she is, and she feels like being friends with Jen is jeopardizing her 10-year friendship with Meredith. Lisa then just wants to make sure with Jen that she doesn't shoot the messenger. And then Jen tells her, honey, I would go to jail for you. but I haven't been to jail yet. Ooh, the foreshadowing. Ooh, I know producers ate that up. Like, they probably zoomed in, gave the little ominous music. That is just so funny how she said that at the beginning of the season. I honestly do think she may be going to jail, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We have so many episodes to go before we get to that. But next scene, we are with Meredith, and she got a new house too. Damn, them housewife checks must be something. But I do like this house better than her last house. It looks really nice. It's overlooking Salt Lake City. And then we have Heather coming over to visit. So Meredith is updating how her life has been since they stopped filming, and she's in a better place with her husband. He's still traveling 50% of the time, but now she's cool with it. Heather is then talking to Meredith about her family life and how her daughter's going to college, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. The next scene, we're at Whitney's residence, and she's having a gathering with her husband's extended family. And boy, was her husband busy. He has 3 sons from a previous marriage. They're all in their 20s and almost the same age with his now wife, Whitney. And messy ass production makes sure we know everyone's age. So Whitney's husband is 52. Whitney is 34. Her stepsons are all in their 20s. The oldest is 5 years younger than her. So it's 29, 26, and 23. Like, the production actually puts the ages next to them. But you know, Whitney is just such a ball of fucking sunshine. I just can't help but like her. And then she has that voice like Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. Like, she's always so optimistic and she loves everyone, but she can be very shady, and I love that about her. So she's discussing her new business venture with her husband and his kids, and they don't look pretty interested in what she has to say. So she says in her confessional that this new business is going to help her to be more independent. You know, she can make her own money financially, and she doesn't have to perform fellatio, as she then proceeds to imitate it using her water bottle. Like, I'm like, really, Whit? Really? I mean, it was cringe, but funny at the same time. So they're celebrating her stepson's birthday. We see them all hanging out by the hot tub. She gets ready. She's in her bathing suit. She grabs the cake. She tries to multitask and hold her phone, plates, and forks in the other hand. She walks and then she drops the cake. The cake just slides off. Fortunately, the cake lands right side up. But what I am most troubled by is that cake fell on the floor and she still wants to serve it. So she picks it right back up and puts it on the little platter thing and then starts lighting the candles and everything. It looks a little disheveled, but it looks okay. So then again, she tries to pick it up and girl, just make 2 trips. Just make 2 trips. But nope, Whitney's a blonde and she wants to try to bring it out, multitask. Now the cake falls upside down, candles lit, just splat. Then she just goes to the floor. Oh no! Oh no! Did she do this on purpose? It don't seem like she did it on purpose. Maybe she was just drunk. But even though this happened, I'm still disturbed that she tried to serve it the first time it fell. That tells me that you can't eat by just anybody's houses, especially some white people. But then we cut to her bringing the destroyed cake out on the platter. I think she lit the candles still. She tells them happy birthday, everybody's laughing, and that cake falls a 3rd time. But y'all, I wouldn't be surprised if they all still ate the cake. But next scene, we're at a church, and I already know who we about to see. Mary. Crazy ass Mary, 26 minutes into the show. So she updates us on what she's been doing since they stopped filming and the panorama happened. Her and her grand husband have been living separately for the past 6 months. For whatever reason, he was living in Florida, she's living in Salt Lake City. 2 opposite sides of the country. She didn't go into detail about why they're living separate, but I'm sure we'll get into that in future episodes. So she says that it's just been her and her son living together. Her son's a teenager, so of course he doesn't talk to her. So she's been talking to herself a lot. Then she thought, well, hey, I talk to myself so much, why don't I just do a podcast? And the podcast is called Mary's Podcast. Let me know in the comments and let me know how it is, because I might actually check that out. Unlike Reasonably Shady, this one seems very entertaining. Lord, and she is still giving me cult leader vibes. So we see that she's filming it with these two other subjects of hers. And we found out that the church has been on hiatus because of COVID. It might reopen soon. And then she points to us a picture of her grandmother and Jesus together. I have missed Mary's wacky ass. But we do get a vulnerable moment from Mary saying that she just feels like she's never been well liked. And this is one of the reasons why she's turned to God and she doesn't trust many people or any human. She says that she was born for God and she's here to spread the gospel. Spoken like a true cult leader. Next scene, we're introduced to the newest housewife, Jenny, who is clearly camera ready. Like she's wearing like an expensive dress. She's at the piano teaching her daughter lessons. So the cast member that she knows is Lisa. They've known each other for 10 years and both of their sons are best friends. Lisa is visiting along with her son and we're introduced to Jenny's family. Her daughter already cracked me up. It looks like she's very strict with her schooling and used to A's. Then she tells Lisa that's why they call us Asians, not Bajans. I have not heard that before. Pretty clever. So a few things about Jenny. She's Vietnamese. We get a little backstory of how she escaped to America at age 3. She's currently 45 or 43, depending on who you ask. Semantics. Girl, you've been on this earth for 45 years, so you're 45. She talks about how she met her husband on a blind date. They've been together for a long time. I think they have 3 kids. He's a doctor, a chiropractor. She actually says in her confessional that he looks great from the neck down. Well, I'm guessing because he was a doctor, she could overlook a few things. But I'm sure she regrets saying that watching this back. So my first impression of her is, I like her. I think she'll be a good fit for the cast. It really depends on how she interacts with the other ladies, which I'm waiting for. This is her only time in the episode, so I don't know that much about her aside from her being a wife and a mother. Hopefully we see more of her in the next episode, because this was it. But next scene we're with Jen and she's having a family gathering. A whole lot of family gatherings this first episode. And then we finally meet her aunt, who's at the center of the war between her and Mary about smelling like hospital. Now, Jen, you didn't have to lift her skirt to show her bionic legs. I think we just needed to be told that. We need to actually see it. But we see that Coach Shaw is here and he doesn't look too annoyed by Jen, so that's always great. They're having a little gathering for their son, whose birthday is in a few days. Ooh, Jen's son is fine. And he's 27 too, so I'm allowed to look at him. But yes, Jen's son can get it. And you'll know since that was a family scene, it was a Best Fiends tea, so fast forward. So next scene, we get our first gathering with most of the ladies for lunch. So it's Mary, Meredith, Heather, and Whitney. So as they all sit down, Meredith lets them know that she recently lost her father, and we all know that it's devastating losing a parent. But the next topic of conversation is about the ladies who aren't here, Lisa and Jen. Heather lets the group know that she hasn't heard from Jen, who recently implied that she was a racist. And then of course she's not fucking with Lisa right now. Mary then reminds the ladies how Jen also tried to label her as a racist. And I gotta say, Mary, though, it was a little warranted, you know, what you said about black people and 7-Elevens. Yeah, it sounded a little sus, sis. Then we hear from Meredith about her beef with Jen involving her bratty gay son. She claims that Jen has been liking negative posts in regards to her son and even homophobic comments, even though her son has not officially opened up to her about his sexuality, to which I say, girl. And I have a different view of their beef because Meredith versus Jen, this all started because her son got in the confessional, her grown son, shaming Jen about her vagina, which was out of line to me. And then he was just so pretentious and catty for no reason. But yeah, I get why Jen was on defense. I mean, everybody saw how rude Brooks was. Like, of course we were going, yes, queen, the first episode, but then later on, he was just such a brat. And I'm pretty sure when Jen watched all that back, it hurt her feelings because I think she genuinely liked her son. So yeah, I have a different viewpoint on that. I don't think she liked anything homophobic, but he's a twink. That's not homophobic. That means he's a privileged white twink. That's what he is. That's the truth. And I get that Jen Shaw may be a criminal now, but in regards to this beef, I think I'm on her side when it comes to this. Meredith tells the ladies that she wants an apology from Jen to her family. Whitney then asks Meredith how would Lisa feel if Jen came after her son and Meredith became friends with Jen, which I think is a little different because Lisa's kids are underage. They're like, what, 9 and 15? Like, Brooks is 20, 21. He was 20 when that aired. He was a grown-ass man. But Meredith does admit to the ladies that Lisa's friendship with Jen annoys her, but she's not gonna police Lisa on who she can and can't be friends with. She even says that Jen can use a friend right now. And I'm glad we get shady Meredith because she's finally engaging, and I'm here for it. So next scene, we're at Meredith's, and I didn't realize that this was a supersized episode, so they're giving us an extra 15 minutes. That's fine, just didn't notice. So Meredith is having a Shabbat, not a black Shabbat, but a regular Shabbat with her family, and she's inviting Lisa and her family to all come over. Now these sleeves that Meredith is wearing, I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's giving avant-garde, but it does look like she just sewed on these white big old puffy sleeves on a black blouse. That's what it looks like. So Lisa comes over with her family, and it's so funny because if you look at my old episodes of Salt Lake City, I could not tell them apart. And now it's just so easy to differentiate them. So while their families are talking in the background, they're having a one-on-one on the couch, and Meredith is telling Lisa about the lunch she had with the other ladies and what was discussed. So on one hand, you have Meredith who wants Lisa to make up with Heather and Whitney, and then Lisa wants Meredith to make up with Jen. But Meredith again says that Jen needs to definitely apologize to her family. I can't believe Lisa is just riding so hard for Jen these days. I mean, did she see the last season? And the way Lisa is riding for Jen right now is clearly pissing Meredith off, and their conversation is getting louder between them. Like, Lisa is making all the excuses for Jen's erratic behavior last season. Like, I know Jen was going through a lot, but she took it out on everybody, even the cameraman, if y'all remember that. Lisa is now comparing her fight with Heather to Meredith and Jen's situation, and Meredith definitely disagrees because Lisa's children aren't involved in it. Like, Meredith says that Jen has been terrorizing her family, which I kind of think is hyperbole on Meredith's part. Like, the only people Jen has been terrorizing is the elderly while stealing their money. Lisa does bring up, though, how Brooks talked about Jen's vagina, and maybe Jen was just embarrassed. But Meredith, she don't give a fuck. And seeing how upset Meredith is getting, Lisa just pauses the conversation and says, I love you, I love you, I love our friendship, I don't want anything to affect that. And then she tells her we'll figure it out, and then they end the conversation at that. Afterwards, they go and continue and have their Shabbat, family time, blah, blah, blah. They then cheers to the memory of Meredith's dad, and that is where the supersized episode ends. I thought that this was a great first episode. I know it goes slower because we're catching up to all the women. We haven't seen them in a long time. That beginning, though, Emmy-worthy. I wanted to see more of the newer housewives, but I know that they typically introduce the newer housewives in the second and third episode. I really can't wait till all 7 of the ladies hang out together. I think that is where housewives shine on any of the franchises. I also want to know whose side are y'all on in the Meredith versus Jen fight, because I personally think that Meredith is overreacting. Like, her son was out of pocket last season. The way she was shaming Jen just because he thought he saw a vagina, I thought that was just really foul, especially because Jen had nothing but nice things to say about Brooks, and Brooks was like talking about her like a dog in the confessionals that he got. So I'm kind of on Jen's side with this, but I want to hear what y'all have to say. I'm also just looking forward to this whole season, and ooh, I cannot wait till we see that arrest. Well, technically, when we see the police arrive and everything, which I think is in episodes, I want to say 6 or 7. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to hurry up and edit this. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for the next episode, which is Beverly Hills, and I promise it'll be on time. Okay, bye.